doing a live truck ride talk. Let's see if anybody ends up coming in. Anyways, we're going to talk specifically today about bodybuilding and training. So if you're someone who's looking to gain some muscle, lose some fat, eat better, get in shape, I'm going to talk you kind of through a good way to get started, and I'll talk about what you can do if you're already started and what you can do if you're an advanced lifter. So just getting started, you definitely want to have just like a general warm-up. So just getting on the treadmill or bike for 5 to 10 minutes so the heart rate gets up and you feel warm, a little bit of sweat. And then you go into just your workout. So finding a machine or resistance exercise that involves multiple joints like pushing, pulling, squatting, or hinging, carrying or crawling exercises to start, and doing full body exercises, um, full body training exercises for each of your training days. And I would go twice a week. So the baseline is twice a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Friday, 2 to 3 days in between your next bout, so that you can properly recover and enhance muscle protein synthesis. In between your training sets and reps. So you want about 10 sets per muscle group per week, or 10 total sets per muscle pattern. So push, pull, hinge, squat, carry, crawl. So 10 total sets at about 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max, or in a 10 to 15 rep range zone. So that's going to be most optimal for, starting out at the gym and you've got no experience training. After you've done that, consistently for a couple of years, with some variation, there's obviously going to be phases of training that is called progression. And each time you add weight to the bar or reps or sets or lower the amount of rest or increase the amount of intensity, tension, that sort of thing is going to be called overload. So understanding the importance of progressive overload as you're training, which is a result of consistency, adherence to a 2-day split training, full body program. Now you could do upper, lower, if that suits your preference, but 2 times a week will give you 2 times the amount as opposed to 1 times the amount and overloading on 1 day. Then once you've done that for a couple of years or a year maybe, and you can show that you've been able to be consistent, then you can add in a day, or maybe you can start with 3 days a week. That's fine, but just understand that if you set the bar too high, you might not be able to adhere to that 3-day program. So just starting out small and being consistent is probably most important before doing 3, 4, or 5 days of training. Once you've done that, like I said, add a day of training. So maybe have 3 days a week. You do a upper, lower, upper for a month, and then do lower, upper, lower for a month, that sort of thing. Or every other week you could switch, going upper, lower, upper, lower. Or you could do 3 full body training days again, getting everything 3 times as opposed to twice a week if you're doing upper, lower, upper. But then again, you're going to have to switch to lower, upper, lower eventually so you can equal things out. Whether that's every other week, every 4. All right, well, you're going to have half the ride I thought I was going to have, which is totally fine. So if you're in phase 2, or if you're a novice training, participant, so you've done your year of training, you start doing 3 to 4 days a week. I would Obviously, start off with 3, see if you can handle that, see how the recovery goes. Um, you shouldn't be so sore that the next training session you can't perform anymore just because of sensitivity or pain. You don't want to overtrain yourself. You also don't want to undertrain or have really low intensity. The intensities need to be pretty high. So if you hit 10 to 15 reps, those 10 reps should be really hard, or that 15th rep should be pretty hard. If you're able to get 17 or 18 reps, it's probably too light. If you're not able to get 8 reps, it's probably too heavy. And so eventually, 6 to 12 reps will be, more novice and advanced training, but just beginning, I would steer clear of those lower rep, high intensity ranges to lower the risk of injury. So your plan twice a week if you're a beginner, 3 times a week if you're novice. Again, full body 2 days a week, or full body 3 times a week, or you can do an upper lower split. That's going to overload those days and might make those workouts a little bit longer, and you might be a little bit more sore if you do that. And you are risking the chance of not hitting the opposite side of the body. So if you start off with upper body and you skip your lower body day, then you've missed half of your body for the entire week. So that's why it's really important to do full body twice a week for beginners, or if you have a 2-day split, I would highly recommend doing full body both days. Now, 3 to 4 days a week, you do an upper lower split, and then you can change that around to lower upper lower or upper lower upper, and you can switch on and off, or try a lower upper lower approach for 4 weeks, and then an upper lower upper approach for 4 weeks, that type of thing. Once you've been able to complete this type of training, um, this should also include probably more sets and reps. So beginners, 10 total sets per muscle group per week or muscle pattern. Now, if you're a novice, I would recommend 10 to 15 sets of a week per muscle group, not muscle pattern. So instead of compound lifts, I'm going to want more isolated lifts, making sure that you're hitting all of the muscles. Where the beginner program, you are going to focus on just your gross motor movement, so your bigger muscles, your primary muscles, your compound movements, your multi-joint movements, and then you get into novice, you'll get into more isolated and as well as compound lifts. Now, the advanced approach, this will be a customized approach for people who are interested in different things. So if you're interested in power training, you'll have a different reps and set scheme. If you're interested in hypertrophy training or muscle building, reps and set scheme. And if you are into muscular endurance, now most people should have some type of cardiovascular program, meaning that they're performing slow duration exercises like walking or jogging, and then beefing those up to about 70% of your VO2 max once predicted or measured. Once you are able to perform long, slow duration training, you should have a little bit of medium intensity, medium duration training, and a little bit of sprinkle in some high intensity interval training or HIIT training. So those would be the 3 types of cardiovascular training you want to hit. 2 to 3 of those versions at least per week. Novice would be 3 to 5, athletes 5 plus. So some athletes will have LSD every day, long slow duration, and they'll sprinkle in medium and high intensity throughout the week, where novices might choose 2 to 3 of those or 3 to 5 of those per week, and a beginner might choose 1 to 2 of those per week. Combined with the strength training, you're going to have maximal results. You're going to have better blood lipid profile. You're going to have better glucose resistance or insulin resistance sensitivity. So all your blood markers will get better with both forms of training. You'll definitely get improved HDL with the cardio respiratory training, you will increase bone mineral density, muscle size, muscle power, muscle strength, muscle endurance um, with the strength training, and quality of life as well as independence as you age, which you lose as a result of your lower amount of type 2 muscle fibers, which is a result of not pushing or not exerting those muscles at all. So let me know what you think. This is why